Good morning and welcome to the live stream. How you doing? I'm Bill DeWeese. Welcome every weekday morning around 8-ish, sometimes closer to 8:15-ish a.m. Eastern Time. We get together to talk voiceover. So I'm really glad you're here this morning. My name is Bill DeWeese, and full-time voiceover talent for the past 16, going on 17 years, and have been coaching voiceover for the past decade. Also a demo producer and the host of this YouTube channel, where I have created over 700 videos, mostly voiceover tutorials that you can access at no cost to help you build, create, and make a profitable voiceover career. And so as you come on the stream this morning, as is our tradition, please give me your name, where you're from, and we'll do a little roll call here in just a little bit. Our numbers are growing. I don't know how long I'll be able to actually list off everybody's name, but it's a lot of fun while we can, right? And it's good to see all the regulars. I always appreciate you guys coming in, and it's always exciting to see new folk. And the great thing is our numbers are growing around the world. A lot of folk who are interested in voiceover who will get up like in the middle of the night to check out the stream. So really appreciate it. And really glad you're here. What's going on out there? What's the matter? Well, it's good to know somebody's standing guard, even if he's only about like that big, but that's all right. It's all right. Okay, so today, well, actually, first of all, somebody asked a question yesterday, and let me address that, and then we'll get to our topic for today. Somebody was asking if Alex DeWeese, who's studio engineer and consultant to voiceover talent. He's a professional. My son is a professional audio engineer, so he helps people set up their sound chain, equalization, compression, plugins, regardless of what DAW you use or what plugins you use. He sets all that up for folks. Does he still do that? Yes, he does. And if you want to find out his availability and cost and all that stuff, you can reach out to him at Alex, A-L-E-X, Alex at BillDeWeese.com. Alex at BillDeWeese.com. So, how do you create a home voiceover studio on the cheap? As a matter of fact, I recommend when you're first getting started that you don't spend a whole lot of money. I think one of the big mistakes a lot of people make, and I see this happen not just in voiceover, and I get it, I understand it, but when you get enthusiastic about anything, maybe it's, you start playing golf. I love the golf analogy. It could be anything. And the first thing folks want to do is go out and spend a boatload of money getting the best stuff, because they feel like, if they're a golfer, if they go out and spend a couple $1,000 on a set of clubs, the latest, greatest driver, putter, irons, it's going to make them a better golfer. And I see it in voiceover. People go out and they just, the reason I was thinking about it was yesterday we were talking about computers, and somebody was asking, what kind of computer, and I was saying I use a 2015 iMac. I mean, it's almost 8 years old now, and it works just fine. Now, if I needed something better, I'd get something better, but the reality is I don't. And when I started my voiceover business, and most of you have probably heard me say this, my first microphone was a Marshall Mxl microphone that you could buy on eBay now for like $60. I recorded, national commercials with that. I created a 6-figure business with that. Now, obviously, as you become a better golfer and become more knowledgeable and competitive, it's, there is something reassuring about having the latest, greatest. And, as I was able to afford better equipment, I invested in better microphones and all of that. But the reality is that's not what makes your career. That's not what makes you stand out from the rest. That's not it. And when it comes to your audio, and when we're talking about your studio, that's what we're talking about, your audio and the quality of your audio. What a lot of people still don't get, and I say this, sometimes I feel like I say it so much that you're probably tired of hearing me say it, but the question keeps getting asked, and I keep seeing the same mistake repeated over and over again. So I guess I'll just keep beating this drum, and that is the quality of your audio doesn't come from your equipment primarily. It comes from the space that you record in. That's where the quality comes in. It's not about having an expensive microphone. It's not about having the best cables and the best audio interface and the best equipment, hardware, the best plugins. although those are all fine, there's nothing wrong with those, but that's not where it all, where it all begins. And you could have an entire, very successful, lucrative career and never use, really high-end equipment. But you do need a quiet space to record. Although clearly, from you hearing my dog bark just about every morning, my space is not completely quiet 24/7. So there are times that I have to stop and let the trucks go by, let the dogs quit barking. That's just what we have to face working from home. But you do need a quiet space when you're recording, and it needs to be well treated. As if, I don't know if you heard my dogs, it's like they're listening to me, they're trying to demonstrate to you how noisy they can be. But you need to make sure your space is well treated. What I mean by that is it needs to have acoustic absorbent material, whether you're using moving blankets or professional acoustic foam, and you can do either or both. And that will absorb the sound reflections and create a dry, dead space. So you're not getting that, that big hollow, echoey, reverbish kind of sound. And if you start with that, then it's amazing what you can get by with. So I'll just illustrate by sharing with you my first studio was in my bedroom closet. And I didn't have a whisper room. I was in voiceover about 4 years before I bought this room. And I was making quite a bit of money by the time I bought this room. So it wasn't like, I was scraping by and barely hanging on and had to, and then had to wait till I could get more equipment before I could do better. I was doing very well when I upgraded to my Neumann and I upgraded to my whisper room, which is why I upgraded, because I had the money to do it. But in my closet, I set up in a corner of the closet. The reason I did it is because it was an interior room, which helped to minimize noise from the outside, and it was full of clothing. That's key. That was primarily my acoustic treatment, was the clothing that was hanging around me, and that knocked down those sound reflections, and it created a drier room. Dry meaning not affected by, not the bouncing of the sound waves. And I used a Marshall Mxl microphone. I mentioned this yesterday, the computer I bought used for $75. It was an old Dell laptop that was running Windows 95. Yeah, Windows 95. And my headphones were nothing fancy. I had no speakers, no monitors. I don't use monitors for voiceover. I use monitors when I'm producing demos, but not when I'm recording voiceovers. I mean, my headphones are all I need for that. So it was, it was lean and mean, and it wasn't fancy and it wasn't pretty, but I booked a lot of work out of that, and I made a really good living. So remember, the takeaway here is it's the room, not the equipment. And I know you're going to hear me say that probably 100 more times. Not today, thankfully, but just because either people, they're not hearing it, they don't want to hear it, or they don't believe me, but it's, for those of you who have done this for any length of time, you know what I'm talking about. You need a quiet space, but it needs to be well treated. So when you have that as a canvas to work on, you don't have to have super high-end equipment. And even if you were to put, like, for instance, this $1,000 Neumann microphone in a really bad room, all it's going to do is amplify the issues that you have. So it's a really bad way to go. So at the risk of beating a dead horse, as they say, I wanted to talk about that again, because you can create a really good home voiceover studio on the cheap. I mean, I was $300 all in on my first studio. Again, I'm not against good equipment. I like good equipment, but I like better sounding audio. That's what I'm really a big fan of, because that's what my clients are a fan of. And that's what will help get you hired and help you keep clients, is really good sounding audio. All right, let's see what's going on. Oh, I think we may have just set a record in terms of attendance. Good to have you guys here. All right, let's see who we've got on. Jessica in Columbus, Ohio. Good morning. Martin in the Redlands of California. Janet in Florida, Benton, also in Redlands. All right, awesome. Nathan in Belgium. Nathan would love to visit your neighborhood sometime. I've always wanted to make it out that way. Haven't yet, but hopefully soon. The closest is I walked last night, went out for dinner, and there's a restaurant called Belgium close by, but I'm sure it's not the same thing as visiting the country. But so far, that's about as close as I've come. Bulma from Connecticut. Hey, JR. How are you doing this morning? And Bruce, they're in Louisville. Fred in Cameroon. Hey, he says, great subject today. Thank you, Fred. Stephen Oshkosh, and happy hump day to you as well. Hey, Randy, what's up in Utah? Lemuel in Fort Wayne. Always good to have you here. Danny, Venezuela. Hey, Danny. Welcome. Good to have you here on the live stream. Anthony, good day to you in Sydney. All right. Saskatchewan. Let's see here. Patricia in Buffalo. Awesome. Good to have you here. Catherine, good morning to you in Apple Valley, California. John in Central Florida. David in Louisville. Lisa, Sarasota, Florida. And Keith, happy hump day to you as well. Miniano in Nigeria, good morning. Good to have you on the stream. And Bruce, what's up? Jordan in Mississippi. All right. Miriam, New Jersey. Awesome. Stuart, enjoying this sunny day in Springfield, Ohio. Hey, Scott in Columbus, Ohio. My old stomping ground. My friend Rob in Loveland. How are you doing, Rob? Let's see here. Nathan, hey, how are you doing? And Nathan, yeah, I keep my computer outside of my booth. My computer is not in the booth. So that way I don't have to deal with fan noise. Doug, good morning. In Greensboro, North Carolina. Beautiful country down there. Man, I love it. Good morning, Ryan in New York. John in Indianapolis, good morning. Oops, the live stream just kind of skipped on me. Let's see here. Where was I at? Okay, and by the way, this is why the topic keeps coming up again and again about studios. Bulma says, great to hear. I was feeling discouraged at VO community members telling me don't bother doing voiceover without spending thousands on equipment, coaching, and pro demo. You know, the pro demo, the coaching, it has its place, and there's a time and place for all this stuff. But when you're first getting started, you do not need to spend thousands on equipment. You certainly need some coaching, and the pro demo will come, but today, as opposed to 10 or 20 years ago, there's some great platforms that you can start with a self-produced demo and start making money, right off the bat without investing a ton. But most people, what you'll find out is that most coaches, most people, industry leaders, I put those in air quotes, are still stuck in an old, outdated business model. And so if you're talking to a coach that gives you this old spiel, that you need to invest thousands and you need to immediately get your pro demo. Now, I mean, if you've got the money to do it, I mean, great. I mean, it's not going to hurt you for sure. But that you should only work with agents and yada yada yada. Run, because there's just a lot of misinformation, outdated primarily information being passed around, and it just hurts people, and it frustrates me to see that, which is why I keep trying to pound this message home. JP in Bakersfield, California. What's up? Hey, Jay, how are you doing in North Central Massachusetts? Matt in the San Fernando Valley. Let's see here. We've got Marky in southeastern Ohio. Well, you're probably my sister's neighbor. That's where she lives. She lives right across from Parkersburg, West Virginia. Let's see here. Joyanne in Barbados. Oh, what I wouldn't give to be in Barbados this morning. Good morning. Hey, Rhonda, Denver. KR in Pakistan, who recently started following. Awesome. Good to have you on board. Israel from Zimbabwe. Good morning, Israel. Good to have you on the stream this morning. Thank you, Marky. I appreciate your kind comments. And buenos dias, Roseanne, in Marietta, Georgia. David in Kansas City, thank you. Let's see, another good morning from Indianapolis. Hey, Christopher in Quebec, how are you doing? Hank in Bluffton, South Carolina. Oh, I know where Bluffton, South Carolina is. I've spent a lot of time there. Hank, yeah, right across the way. They're on the mainland across from Hilton Head. Yeah, I love it. It's one of our favorite places to be. Let's see here. Bruce in Massachusetts, good morning. Linda, good morning to you. Oh, Bruce, you're too nice. Thank you very much. Dave's a transplanted Buckeye, too. Our numbers are great. Buckeye Nation. By the way, this Saturday night, we play Notre Dame. Oh, my gosh. How exciting is that? Very exciting. Let's see here. Nathan says, a restaurant called Belgium? We don't have any good food here. Yeah, well, you're well represented here in the U.S. in terms of food. That's funny. John Boy, Dayton, Tennessee, good morning. Hey, Paul, Northeastern Kentucky, what's up? Okay, let's see. Yamakani from South Africa. No, it's Carney. I'm sorry. Yes, good morning to you. Meigs County. You know, Marky, that's where my dad grew up, by the way, Meigs County. That's that's my roots. That's the Deweese family used to be mighty down in those parts. There were a lot of Deweeses back in the day. They all moved. They took off and some went across the river to West Virginia. A bunch of them moved south to Florida. But that's where my dad grew up. Let's see here. Yes, Daniel, I'm back to the Neumann. It's the comfort factor. I just love this microphone. Let's see, you from Houston, Western Kentucky. Max, hey, good morning. Tobago, hello, how are you this morning? And Catherine, 2 days in a row in a collared shirt. Yes, I'm on a roll. And the reason I wear this shirt is it's got palm trees on it. So this is my way of warding off cold weather because I know it. I can feel it. I can hear it. Fall is just around the corner. I'm not anti-fall, but I'm pro-summer. That's the thing. And I want to stretch out summer as long as I can. Okay. Well, guys, hey, thanks for being here again. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. It's always fun to get together. But hopefully you're getting information that just helps you do it the right way because you want to do everything you can to increase your chances for success and to speed up that process. And if you don't, you delay and sometimes delay forever your opportunity to be successful because you're focused on the wrong stuff, as so many people are. So make it a great day. Have a good one. And I'll be back again tomorrow morning. Until then, well, take care. I'll talk to you soon.